AI and ESG. How to navigate sustainable investments.
Hi everyone, great to see you. And what a great panel, and how tough it is for me to follow that. And how many of you were trying to think of your 4 words and wondering about what you were going to say if Sarah actually turned to the audience and said, what were your 4 words? And I'm writing, optimistic, compassionate, future-focused, inspired. And that's me, and I hope that I'm going to be able to inspire you a little bit to think about AI and ESG and sustainable investing. We've actually heard quite a bit this morning about people talking about their children's children and about the future of humanity and how we, through technology, are going to be able to improve the situation and leave a better word. So people are already thinking about this. And AI actually can be your best friend in thinking about how to improve the impact of your investments. So some people only invest to make money, but some people want to leave a legacy. Do you want to leave behind a world that's better for your children, or do you want to just make money and make sure your family's okay? And I think what we can do and see through the conversation today is how AI can both help as a technology that's going to improve sustainability, as well as actually help you make better investment decisions to leave behind a better planet, to change this world for the better. So if you're an investor, think about not just investing for monetary return, but thinking about investing for social return. So let's just reflect a moment about where we are, the region that we're in today. So we're in a region which has got a legacy from oil and gas, pollution, exploitation of natural resources, environmental degradation, water shortage, food insecurity. It's got a climate landscape that is very, very fragile. Pressure on water resources are going to be a 20% decrease in rainfall in the next 50 years. We have extreme weather, food insecurity, air pollution. And actually, this is one of the most rapidly urbanising regions of the world, with 70% of the population now living in cities, which means pollution, and it means a whole lot of other environmental consequences. So thinking about investing in ESG in this region just makes sense. So we're talking about things like emissions, resource use, land use. In social terms, we're thinking about looking after employees, their rights, the safety of quality of products and services, access for underprivileged groups, of whom there are many, even though we're in a very prosperous setting now, and labour standards, governance, anti-corruption, looking after shareholder rights, board diversity, executive compensation. And one of the key things to realise is that here in the middle of this amazing technology conference is that 70% of the Sustainable Development Goals can be accelerated through digital technologies. We simply are going to get nowhere without deploying technology. So it's incredibly important. And for those of you who are investors, think about how you can deploy your assets in a way not just that gives you a monetary return, but gives you a social return. So AI is one of these technologies we haven't yet imagined how much it's going to be able to do with us. But what we do know in terms of ESG is that we can use it to optimise our energy efficiency, to track our carbon footprint, to improve resource management. AI is an enabler to be able to help us to do all of those things that we know well that we need to do. People have talked about ethics a lot this morning. In fact, I was delighted the extent to which people have been talking about ethics. So AI is going to be able to enable us to think about ethical considerations and prioritise those in our decision making, to help us think more and better about diversity and inclusion and ensure that we're deploying those in the decisions that we make. AI can absolutely improve transparency and governance. And it's awfully interesting to watch what's going on in the United States with the Department of Government Efficiency And all of those algorithms and young developers released amongst all of the departments to look at the transparency in terms of the allocation of government resources. It can help with risk management and regulatory compliance. All of those things are just an adjunct that you're going to be able to get AI to help with. And it was interesting, wasn't it, listening to Sarah, who said she used to have a team of 15. Now she's got a team of 3 because she's able to use AI to do a whole lot of things that she needed people to do previously. It can help us do things faster and better. So in terms of AI and ESG, the kinds of facets of AI that we can deploy is first of all around data analytics, using this massive data that we have to provide analysis and insights to support ESG reporting. Automation, getting better processes and efficiency and more quickly getting results. Machine learning to optimise energy efficiency, predict energy requirements and forecasting, and then digital twin technologies. It's incredible what's happening with digital twin technologies now in a number of different jurisdictions, because you can forecast what's happening in cities. You can predict what will happen in a disaster or a major climate event. So these kinds of technologies are really helping us to be able to invest and think about how better we can use AI to make decisions around ESG. Now, blockchain gets caned frequently for its energy usage, and indeed we need to recognise that AI also has huge energy usage. So we need to balance the energy usage cost, if you like, of using these technologies with the benefits that they accrue. But there's a whole lot of benefits that we can gain from blockchain in terms of ESG, from smart grid management to peer-to-peer energy markets, renewable energy certificates, looking at the carbon footprint and tracking that, micro-leasing, measurement and reporting, and NFTs to be able to track credits and other issues like that. So blockchain has got an underpinning that can really help us working with AI in terms of sustainability. So I spoke about digital twins before. We've got AI and digital twins which are helping climate resilience, both through the projections, utilising digital twins to look at climate projections and hydrological models, flood forecasting, multivariate analysis, because what it can do is connect data from multiple different sectors and areas and bring them together in a way the human mind simply can't, and garner insights and predictive models that enable us to see what's happening. And then disaster simulation, simulating what could happen in a disaster, what we need to do, how we move people. So it's an incredibly powerful tool for that. And thinking about the increasing use of satellites, not just Starlink, but using GIS and satellite images for ESG, because we can look at the world from a satellite. We can see what's happening in terms of habitats. We can look at emissions monitoring from satellites. So we now have data that are going to enable us, with a great deal more precision, understand what's happening in terms of the environment. I already said that 70% of the population of the Middle East are living in urban areas. So AI is going to be incredibly important for smart infrastructure, to be able to develop smart transportation, smart buildings, optimise energy efficiency using IoT and sensors. So in this urban area, deploying and investing in AIs that are going to be able to help us make cities more livable, less polluted, less energy concentrating is going to be something that's well worth considering. So what ESG can do is help investors make more informed decisions on sustainability. So if sustainability is one lens that you want to put your investment decisions through, AI is going to be able to help you look more analytically at that lens. But why does this matter? Why are we even having the conversation? For those of you who haven't thought about it or who haven't previously had interest, well, first of all, Investor demand. Companies that are lending capital are far more demanding ESG practices to attract capital. It's a way to be able to increase your attractiveness. Consumer expectations. Consumers, since the pandemic in particular, are not satisfied with merely economic returns from investments. They want to know that the companies that they are investing in are actually generating ESG and social returns as well. Regulatory pressure is increasing for companies to be involved in ethical and responsible AI practices in ESG, and ESG can give you a competitive edge. So there's a reason to think about investing in ESG. So ESG is going to help you secure capital, help decision-making for investors, and also help you think about the importance of ESG as a measure for companies seeking investment and attracting capital. It's simply going to be a requirement in many industries in the future, and indeed already is. And companies that aren't thinking about ESG are going to be needing to do that if they're seeking investment. So AI and ESG can enhance impact and efficiency as well. So we see here, automating the process of companies, enhancing objectivity in your decision making, because often investors, they gather a whole lot of data and they get a whole lot of insights and then they make a decision from their heart. What AI is going to be able to help you to do is make it a lot more analytic and data-based, and so that you're going to be able to make decisions that are informed by yottabytes of evidence. The other thing that's really important is, yes, you find a great ESG company, you put your money in, and what's the impact of that? How's that company progressing? Is it actually doing anything to make an impact on climate or the environment? And you're going to be able to use AI to look at that data for verification and impact measurement in ways that we haven't had the capacity to be able to do before. So in ESG investing, it's going to allow investors to do predictive modelling on the companies and the investments that they're looking at. So it's going to be able to allow you to look at a range of future scenarios and help you make decisions based on data analysis. It can analyse masses of data to assess, for example, a company's commitment to ESG. So you see their beautiful deck, it says we're committed to ESG, and AI is going to allow you to crowdsource data from every different source and see whether this is actually sincere and verified by the data. So it enables you to know that the companies you're investing in are in fact serious around ESG. Image recognition, and I showed you that before around the satellites, allows you to monitor a company's impact on ecosystems. So, for example, impacts on deforestation or pollution. So it's going to enable you to be a better informed precision investor. As we've seen today, of course, there's risks, there's biases. I already mentioned to you the incredible amounts of energy that data centres that are required to feed the AI require, and this is something that all of us and governments need to deal with because it's only growing. There are risks with data quality because traditionally ESG data simply hasn't been collected, and so we don't have a lot of history with strong ESG data. This will improve, but it's sometimes hard to obtain reliable data. Algorithmic bias, like everything else, can be built into the models, and this can affect the impact of the analysis that you're getting. Other things like ESG dynamics, and what I simply mean by that is that AI models need to keep up with ESG, as ESG needs to keep up with AI, and so this requires ongoing monitoring and frequent adjustment. And ESG is complex because it often requires qualitative assessments. Even though AI is going to be able to see a lot more data and get a lot more insights, there's still going to be a human element working with that AI data to make the final decisions about what you want to invest in. So sustainable investment will always involve some human judgment, always involve thinking about the ethics of what you're doing, how it's going to affect humanity, how it's going to affect children, how it's going to affect the workforce, how it's going to affect the planet. So there'll always be human judgment involved, but AI can really service us as a tool to improve the way that we make decisions. So technology is full of risks, and we need to take responsibility for thinking about how to mitigate those risks. This world of the future that our children's children will live in is being built by us. And we need to take the responsibility and have the capacity to be able to say, how do we make sure we're doing this safely? So we need to look at issues like standardisation for AI to enhance the reliability and effectiveness of the AI. Ethics, thinking about privacy and security and ethical AI practices in line with social impacts. And ultimately, collaboration, combining our human expertise with the power of AI to get a better outcome, to get a better investment decision, to get better monitoring and evaluation data from what we invest in. So there's incredible opportunities as investors to think about how to broaden your portfolio decision-making to include ESG, to think about how you can deploy AI to speed up your ESG analysis and uncover insights onto the performance of companies that you're looking at, to identify the ESG risks more carefully and uncover risks in climate change and labour standards, for example, because anything involving a supply chain involves many, 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 many different players, and we can use AI to help understand what's going on in the supply chain and what kind of labour practices, for example, are in supply chains. We can incorporate ESG criteria into your predictive models and help generate sustainable financial returns. And then we can use innovative ratings and create robust frameworks to evaluate ESG and foster trust in ESG decision-making. So ESG companies offer better returns. AI can help you improve your returns. It can help you predict financials, long-term financial performance of sustainable investments by looking at the data to identify patterns and trends. It can provide you insight into ESG factors, the ones that are most relevant to sustainable investments' financial performance. It can help you identify potential risks and opportunities that would take a person a lot longer to be able to identify. And it can help you develop predictive models that consider factors such as company financials, industry trends, and ESG metrics to forecast the future financial performance of sustainable investments. So there's so much that's possible if you, as an investor, make that choice. So AI in sustainable ESG investing can help you identify climate risk. It can help identify investment opportunities for you to deploy your capital in responsible ways that has an impact on the planet. And it can track the supply chain. It can track what's going on with the suppliers in your supply chain and identify environmental and social risks. So all of these are possible to deploy within your own personal or your corporate investment portfolio, and trying to do sustainable investing without AI simply doesn't make sense anymore. So just drawing to a close, there are so many opportunities with ESG, and it's only possible just to touch the surface. But first of all, the opportunity is you get a return. Sustainable investments can yield good returns, and the benefits can outweigh the risks. They can make a significant difference and leave a legacy. All of us must want to leave a better world for our children than the world that we have now. And all of us in every investment decision can make a choice to do that. And better data increases opportunities and increases your ability to be able to understand where you're putting your money. So many more investors now are incorporating ESG into their investment decision-making, making ESG far more important for securing capital and debt and equity. So what we have here now is an opportunity which is a fundamental shift in the way we allocate capital, and AI can help us ensure that the choices we make in every investment can make the world better for tomorrow. So thank you very much for joining me, and I hope that at least I've stimulated some of you to think about this and to understand that AI is an invaluable partnership for any investor who cares about the future and wants to create a more sustainable future. Thank you very much for joining me.